this is my review of Death Note. Okay, so this episode is a little bit interesting because in this episode, there's actually a second Kira, as I predicted last episode. So, yeah, and the second Kira has a completely different way of going about their business. And we also kind of sort of see who they are at the very end of the episode. So here's the thing about the second Kira. We know that instead of using the Death Note to just kill people without getting caught, this second Kira makes a very big spectacle of it. So what they did was they sent a bunch of tapes to Sakura TV and had them air them. And sure enough, when they actually finally air the broadcast, they basically confirm that they're all being held hostage, and if they don't do exactly what Kira says, they will be killed. And sure enough, Kira, this second Kira has the Sakura TV broadcast several pre-recorded messages on television confirming that they are in fact Kira by killing several news anchors across the board, and tells everybody that it doesn't see the police as enemies, and that as long as they agree to cooperate with Kira, that they have nothing to fear of them. And at which point, one of the police officers immediately goes to try and stop the broadcast, and is killed at the door, despite his face never actually getting out. His name and face are never revealed, which confirms that this is in fact a different Kira, because this Kira clearly has the Shinigami eyes, whereas Light did not. So it's clear that this Kira only needs a face, which makes them infinitely more dangerous. So. And after realizing the situation and realizing that he actually can't get in there without being seen, Soichiro is actually the one that comes to the rescue and actually rams a police van in through the front of Sakura TV headquarters and forces them to give him the tapes, but is now kind of stuck because he realizes he can't actually leave by himself. El meanwhile sees all of this and realizes that he needs to actually get Soichiro out of there, and sure enough calls up the superintendent of the police headquarters and tells him the situation. And after seeing it firsthand, realizes that they need to act quickly to try and actually get Soichiro out, while also not exposing themselves to the new Kira. So sure enough, El basically arranges a blockade to shield Soichiro so that Soichiro can escape before everybody departs, with their helmets on, I might add. Although by that point, the second Kira has completely lost interest. And sure enough, thanks to Soichiro, El now has access to the tapes, and the broadcast has been stopped. And with that, El begins to analyze the tapes to see if he can find any clues to who this new Kira actually is. And sure enough, he gets quite a bit. After analyzing the second, third, and fourth tapes, he realizes that this new Kira actually focuses on people who have abused others, people who are guilty of sexual abuse and sexual assault and that kind of thing. So clearly, the second Kira has a history of those kinds of people in their life. So yeah, so El quickly realizes that there's something. That this is definitely second Kira, and has them broadcast the fourth tapes because there was actually some pre-recorded message in case they said no. And sure enough, they broadcast the fourth tape, which is where Kira says that they're disappointed that they can't work with the police, and says that either Soichiro or El has to show up and use their and show them his face so that they can take them hostage, and they have 4 days to decide which one. So basically, this Kira wants to just manipulate everybody. And sure enough, Light, having watched all of this play out on his TV back at his apartment near his college, actually watches all of this and realizes that there's now a second Kira. So that's going to be interesting. And sure enough, the police task force actually figures this out as well. L immediately deduces that this is a different Kira, since Kira by this point has avoided doing anything flashy to catch the police's attention, while also admitting that their criminology and who they go after is completely different from the original Kira. And sure enough, L confirms that there is in fact a 70% chance there's a second one. And sure enough, he admits that he needs to actually bring Light in, admitting that while he's not entirely cleared of suspicion, his deductive reasoning would be helpful. And sure enough, Light was also thinking the same thing and was admitting to wanting to join the task force, realizing that he needs to actually keep an eye on L and also maybe track down the second Kira. So, sure enough, the second Kira basically acts as a catalyst for Light and L to actually work together and try to track them down. But we actually do get to, but as I mentioned earlier in this review, we actually do get to see who the second Kira is, and it's actually not a he, but a she, a girl named Misa and her Shinigami Rem, who admits that the main reason she actually wants to become a second Kira, as it were, was so that she can meet the original and see what kind of person he is, pointing out that she knows full well that she probably won't die because she believes that he has a bit of a pure heart, that he takes pity on people who have a pure heart and don't really try to be criminals. So she surmises that she's most likely safe, but even if she doesn't, she has the Shinigami eyes, which makes her more powerful than the original Kira. So she realizes that even if she is at the risk of dying, she has an advantage either way. So yeah, Misa is the second Kira, and she's going to be a recurring character, I'm assuming, going forward. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting because now there are two Kiras in the world, each with their own different methodologies on how they actually go about killing criminals. And that's going to be interesting because now the police task force is investigating two different Kiras while also trying to make sure that Light doesn't know there's a second Kira and make him think that there's only chasing the one. So sure enough, now there are two Kiras in the world, each with two completely different methodologies, and it's going to be interesting seeing how they actually come face to face with this second Kira and actually try and take them down. But yeah, that's my review of Death Note. What did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And if you want to help support the show, then be sure to check out my Patreon. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that I'm my way saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and next time I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!